Well, for some analysis on the upcoming Nigerian elections, we're now joined by Opeyemi Akinyode, who's a broadcaster and the head of political desk for Mainland FM. Thanks so much indeed for joining us. Welcome to the program.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So, I mean, how serious is this concern that the elections could be postponed or even cancelled?
We're counting down to the general elections in Nigeria. Exactly 44 days away from now, we have the presidential and the National Assembly election. And we have 18 political parties fielding presidential candidates. And of course, we have people running for the Senate, the upper legislative chamber, and the House of Representatives, the lower legislative chambers. But if you look at where things are in the last few months, the basic reason why we've had this concern has been more of security issues. We've seen INEC offices get burnt in some states in Nigeria. INEC materials get confiscated. About 66,000 PVCs were burnt in some states. So it's really building a lot of concern. And most especially the issue of, the kidnaps that have not gone down. Just a few months ago, a lot of people were kidnapped along the Kaduna Abuja train, station. And just a few days ago, over 30 people were reportedly kidnapped in Edo State. So all of this pocket of concerns here and there is really, raising all of this fear. And also, the chairman of INEC, Nigeria's electoral body, had come out to say that there are big concerns in as much as 14 states across the federation. So the idea is coming into Nigerians' head, and people really want to vote. So I'm not surprised that these concerns are coming up. But INEC have consistently, assured Nigerians that the election will not be postponed.
What might be the consequences of a delay or a cancellation?
I don't think we want to imagine it as it is. Around November last year, the chairman of INEC, addressed the press. And Professor Yakubu said there's no need, there's not going to be any time in this country where election will be postponed on the basis of logistics. So automatically, INEC can rule that logistics, out of the, the reason why the election may be postponed. But again, the consequences will be big. Because if you look at the economic situation of this country in the last 7.5 years, it's not exactly where Nigerians want it to be. I mean, the president, while contesting in 2015, promised Nigerians to fix economy, to fight corruption, and just to make sure everywhere is safe and secure. But, I mean, it's been from one issue to the other, kidnappings here and there, and so the consequences will be big. I think Nigerians want to have this election. If you look at the figures that INEC is reporting at the moment, we have almost 100 million people that have registered to have their PVCs. And out of all of these, we have about 51% of them being students, young people from about 51.11% between the ages of 18 and 35. So the young people are ready to vote. And as it is again, we're moving away from the two-party system we've had since 1999, 23 years ago. We seem to have about 18 candidates now that have ideas on how to fix the problem of this country. So the consequences is this. It's going to alter the calculation, the political calendar as it is now. Secondly, I think Nigerians want to go to the poll again to either consolidate on the gains they have on the ruling APC, or they try new things. If they want to fix what has been messed up, they need to go to the polls. People are ready. People are picking up their PVCs. So the consequences again is this. It would kind of pull us a little back. This is the longest stretch of democracy that we've had in Nigeria since 1999. We've not had any military, intervention whatsoever. So if this election gets altered, it's kind of going to take us back. And whether we like it or not, Nigeria plays a big role in the democracy of Africa. Our economy is one of the biggest in Africa, despite the challenges that we have. So it's a bad signal, to other African countries that want to take a cue from how we've been able to manage the situation in Nigeria vis-a-vis the challenges that we've had.
All right, we'll talk about the candidates and the politics and the issues just now. Perhaps a last question on the security issue. We know that there's rising crime in the northeast, northwest, or is it northwest? In the north again, we have this issue of the jihadist separatists, and then the separatist tensions in the south. Are any of these groups working to have these cancelled, to have these elections cancelled or delayed, or are they just going about their normal issues with or without elections?
Well, the truth is this: we're just speculating. There's not been an official statement from the electoral body that the election will be postponed. All of these are just speculations and fears and, concerns that Nigerians are raising, which is quite understandable. But again, you can also say emphatically that it is the jihadists that are going to bring up, maybe one of the reasons why the election will be postponed. But again, insecurity is going to be a key, conversation if the election will be postponed at all. If the chairman of INEC, the electoral body, had come out to say there are little concerns, as much as 14 states, that means if those states won't be contesting, if they won't be part of the election will not hold. Because the constitution is clear, the two-thirds majority vote must be secured before any candidate will be declared winner. So if you remove 14 out of the 36 states and the FCT, that means it alters the calculation. Secondly, we can also say that the jihadists want to have the election postponed, because most of the attack on the the facilities of the empire, the INEC, have not been linked to any of the jihadists so far. None of them have claimed responsibility for all of this so far. And we have 44 days to the election. So we can't just say categorically that the jihadists are working towards the postponement of the election. But if at all, INEC would come out to give an emphatic statement and, support the fact that the election will be postponed. When we get to see their reasons, they have the information, they have intelligence gathering, and they understand, and they have people out there that are supplying them with the information that is going on. When they come out, we'll be able to analyze if the jihadists are playing a part in the postponement of the election, because some of the security concerns raised in those 14 states are not exactly about Boko Haram. We look at some southeastern states, for instance. Imo State has been under constant attack. The INEC offices have been burned. So it is not the issue of jihadists that is going on in some of the southeast states. It's another agitation entirely. It's more like a separatist group. So when INEC comes out with an official statement, they will know where we are heading to.
All right. Let's talk about the politicians themselves. Are there any front runners that are starting to make ground, and what are the issues that they are promising to deal with?
The unique thing about Nigeria's situation is this: our problems are very clear for everyone to see. We've achieved some form of progress in the past 7.5 years. It's not just been the bad news and all of that, but if you put it side by side, the expectations that Nigerians had, especially on the personality of President Muhammadu Buhari, then it probably may not be the best of expectations in terms of what we have on the table. However, if you look at the ruling APC, they have at the moment about 22 states that they are governing. That's 22 houses of assembly. I mean, they have the majority in the Senate, the upper legislative chamber. They have the majority in the House of Representatives. So you look at all of these things, and then you ask yourself, would the ruling party be able to return into office? And the candidate of the ruling party was a former governor of Lagos State, which economically is the headquarters, is the capital of the country economically. So he comes into the table with a lot of experience. The other candidate, again, a former governor of a state in the southeast, is contesting on the platform of not one of the biggest political parties. Now we have the former vice president of the Nigerian, people, is contesting on the platform of the main opposition party. So all of the candidates have their own strength, they have their weaknesses, they have their, projections that they want to win some states, they want to get numbers in some states. So as it is now, uniquely, 44 days to the election, we still don't have a single candidate that can come out to say, this election, if called, I have a chance. Of course, everybody is being, being positive with their chances. Even the list of the 18 candidates, they think they can win the election. But as against what we've always had, it looks like a lot of candidates have things to bring to the table. In 2019, we have over 70, political parties fielding candidates. In 2023, we have only 18 of them. And 18 of them seems to have ideas on how to fix the country. So as we are now, no single candidate is leading or really making direct inways into the minds of Nigerians. Many people are still undecided on who they want to cast their ballot for on the 25th of February.
My brother, thank you very, very much indeed for giving us those insights. I certainly look forward to more conversations with you in the coming weeks as we get to the elections. But for this evening, Edupe.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, my brother. Take care. All right, that's Opeyemi Akinyode, who is a broadcaster and the head of the political desk for Mainland FM, who says that as much as there is talk and concerns about insecurity possibly delaying or stopping the elections, he says it's probably not going to happen because the will of the people is to go out and vote.